This isn't a deal that starts out about going into it for the money. This has to be a passion-driven deal at you start.
Good job.
They're some of the most beautiful and hardest working horse farms in the world. And behind each and every one of these central Kentucky treasures are passionate people who have dedicated their lives to the horse industry. This is Behind the Gate, an insider's guide to Kentucky horse farms.
We fell in love with this property, and every time I drive in those gates I remember that feeling, and that no matter what's going on the farm or what's going on in our life, it's just that peace that this is home now. I'm Elizabeth James.
G'day, I'm Dan James, and we run Double Dan Horsemanship here at our home base, the Australian Equine Performance Center.
You know, it's a great story with this farm because when we got married, looked at farms in Texas and Georgia, and Dan spent days on end looking at farms all across Kentucky. This farm was really a blessing. It's the perfect size for what we needed. It has a train track through it. I'm sure a lot of horse people shied away from that, and that was a huge blessing for us. We've had it for 3 years, and it's been quite an adventure. Neither of us have ever owned a farm before, so this was definitely a learning in progress.
You know, as a young fellow back home in Australia, we grew up with mum and dad sort of working and managing a lot of cattle places, so we were always involved around horses. Teaching us that work ethic and that love and that to the horse has, you know, it's paid off. Look where we are.
So I take care of the office and the business side of things, which is a lot of the behind the scenes work. It's definitely not always out on the farm or very glamorous, but I do the books, I do a lot of the booking, I do the social media, the marketing, anything with the website, updating, stuff like that. When people ask what we do, I say a little bit of everything. Dan does clinics, he does lessons, he does horses in training, he does movies and pictures, so I always end up just telling people, you name it in the horse world, Dan probably does it, and we do it here at the farm.
The group of horses that we have here in the arena now, they're actually my main, what I would call Liberty team. So these horses have literally travelled all across America, Canada, they've toured all over Australia as well. And what's probably very unique about this set of horses is that there's very few actual teams of horses in the world right now that can do what this team does. Been featured in Vogue and Versace. One of the grey horses has done shots with Jennifer Lawrence and other supermodels as well. So they're probably some of my proudest work, and what you're seeing kind of going on behind us here is a little bit of a warm-up prior to me sort of stepping in. All right guys, let's bring them over. Let's just, we'll line them up and I'll go to work on them a little bit. What I do is often, you know, we get referred to as being the horse whisperer, and you know, that to me couldn't be a more corny name that I really shy away from. People see these difficult and sometimes crazy manoeuvres and stuff that we perform with our horses, but the reality of it is that they miss the behind the scenes, the process, the hard work, the months that go through, and it's not easy. Like, you get it wrong, you can die, literally. So you've got to understand to be committed to the process, and that this isn't a deal that starts out about going into it for the money. This has to be a passion-driven deal at you start. I still like to stay true to my roots, you know, particularly from back home in Australia. You know, I'm trying to utilise the horse and kind of staying a little bit old school on that stuff. It makes it a lot of fun still to captivate, you know, what we used to do, and you know, get away from some of the modernised ways in which that other people do things.
After we work horses, Dan wants to go mow things and fix things, and I want to go do, you know, the marketing, the social media, and learn more about that. So we kind of both like that niche.
Even though we're on a small place here in Kentucky, I still love the idea of going out and checking fences and stuff like we did back home in Australia. Plus, it's really great to get these young horses and colts out.
We're looking at expanding into tourism and opening our gates for people to be able to come and do events. It's a beautiful farm. It's got, you know, a tobacco barn. It's along the beautiful Elkhorn Creek. We're working on getting a wedding venue up and going, so people that want to have events are welcome to come out. also have the horses and the equine entertainment. Dan has horses that can do kind of some unique things, and I'm excited for that to be able to be something that we offer that sets it aside for this farm. You know, we're so blessed by our crew. Our crew live here on the farm, we live on the farm, and they really become like family. For me, it's probably one of the neatest things about our farm is we have staff from all over the world that are here. Dan obviously has a big international backing, so we get a lot of people that just want to come through and see what he does, learn from him. You know, both Dan and I are here because people gave us opportunities and taught us along the way, and one of the biggest things we can do to give back is just to expose people to Central Kentucky.
This is a season of time in their life that they get to enjoy and learn, and we sure couldn't do it without them.
I love so much having them from all over. It's just been such a treat, and getting to know their stories and getting to watch their stories when they leave. So we're kind of a pass-through place, but it makes it pretty special.
That's pretty good. Flick it out and like turn in a big pot. That's it. Yeah, now just slow down a little bit. Pretty good. I think it's going to be bloody awesome to raise the kids here. I mean, you know, there's enough stuff I look around and think as a kid growing up, like, you know, all the things that they'd be able to get up to here on the farm, from the creek to the horses. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool childhood.
I think both Dan and I look at this place and imagine what we would have done as kids here, and so we envision that for our kids, and I think we're more excited to kind of sit back and watch that unfold. Yeah, I think the key when you work together and live together and it's all on a farm is taking whatever time that you have. It doesn't always work that you have a full day. Midway's right down the road, which we love, so even something as simple as going and getting lunch is a big deal. Honestly, it's such a blessed life. Like, in the midst of the craziness, there are a few moments at the end of the day that you really get to step back and be like, wow, you know, this is such an incredible life that we get to live. Did you play with your friends?
I've styled the horse community here in and surrounding Lexington. It's an amazing place to get to raise a family, and I couldn't think of anywhere else in the world to be.